Felicitous greetings, fellow fanatics.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Adam the Fanatic, and today we're taking a look at Chroma Squad, a tactical RPG by Behold Studios that satirizes the Super Sentai genre. For those who aren't aware, Super Sentai is a long-running Japanese TV show that serves as the basis for what we in the West know as Power Rangers. I could go into a pretty long tangent about the history of that, but you're here for the video game, so without any further ado, let's dive in. In Chroma Squad, you'll take on the role of a small studio producing a Super Sentai series. After quitting their former job where they felt their director was a complete and total moron, and they were right, they decide to start their own studio, and it's up to you to produce episodes that draw in audiences and a loyal fan base. At the onset, you'll choose 5 actors who will determine the base stats of each character, as well as which color they'll be when they suit up. Between episodes, you'll be able to buy, recycle, and craft equipment to be used as costumes, and eventually parts for the team's mecha. You can also name various things such as the team, their catchphrase, and similar things that have no impact on the gameplay. At this point, you're probably thinking it sounds more like a business simulator than an RPG, so let's look at how producing an episode actually works. Better? As you can see, episodes play out as battles on a tactical grid. In most episodes, characters will start out in civilian form. Before morphin', the characters will only have a small number of options. You always get the first turn, and you can choose the order that your characters act in. The game displays them as having 2 actions, but this is really misleading. Rather, you have a move in a single action. However, you may sacrifice your action for a second move. In civilian form, the only actions you can take are to attack or prepare for teamwork. Attacking is straightforward enough, but teamwork can be used in one of 2 ways. If you use teamwork next to an enemy and then have another actor attack them, they'll do a teamwork attack for extra damage. You can have any and all of your actors engage in a single teamwork attack, and we'll get back to that in a little bit. The other thing you can do with teamwork is acrobatics. If one actor is prepared for teamwork in the movement range of another, they can boost the second actor into a flip to give them a bit of extra movement range. Teamwork acrobatics will keep an actor prepped for future teamwork, but attacking will exhaust them for the rest of the turn. As the episode goes on, you'll eventually want to chromatize. You'll need to acquire a certain audience score before you can do so, but once you do, characters will have access to their full range of abilities, with each character being unique. You get to choose the actors, their names, and their colors, but there are 5 roles that are going to be consistent throughout your playthrough, regardless of who you assign to each role. As the game goes on, you'll get access to more moves each season, and can freely switch between different moves of the same tier if you don't like a character's current build. The lead is basically your tank, and by default, is red of course. The lead is the only ranger that can use spears. Each role has their own weapon, but you can give a sword or a pistol to anyone. Spears have the ability to hit from 2 spaces away. I like to use the taunt ability, which both heals the lead and draws fire away from other characters, and the lasso is great for preparing for finishing moves. Assault is your damage dealer. They have very good melee options, and not much else. Still, as straightforward as the role is, you'll find yourself often relying on them to quickly take out mooks. The Assault is the only ranger that uses axes, which deal even more damage, and that's about it. Next is the Scout. Even before transforming, the Scout can move further than other characters, allowing them to quickly close in on foes or get out of danger. I like to make use of the area stun ability to keep hordes of mooks under control. In late game, the Scout can make very effective use of daggers, which have lower cooldown and a higher crit rate than other weapons. Next up is Techie. The best at range attacks, Techie uses rifles. Early game, I like to use the rapid fire ability to deal damage to larger groups, but as enemies get bigger and badder, the find weakness ability becomes invaluable. And finally, we have the healer who, what else, heals the rest of the team. You have singular healing, area healing, status effect recovery, and even a revival move to get KO'd characters back into the fight. The healer's weapon is a bow which, while not as powerful as the Techie's rifle, still has some pretty good range. Late game, you also get access to an ability which temporarily turns all of your healing moves into attacks, but I prefer to just stick with healing. Each level plays out in anywhere from 1 to 4 scenes. Each scene has 2 director's instructions which you can use to score extra audience, and usually ends by defeating a boss monster. Once the monster gets low on health, you'll see a finish it indicator pop up. You perform a finishing move at this time, it's guaranteed to win the fight. To perform a finishing move, have 4 rangers move into position and use teamwork, then have the last one attack so that they all strike at once. Alternatively, teamwork and finishing moves can be performed with basic weapon attacks so long as all actors involved have their weapons ready. When you do this, you can even perform a finishing move with some actors at range. In the finale for the first season, and in many episodes thereafter, the monster will power up and you'll have to fight against them in a mech. These fights are pretty straightforward. Again, you always get the first move. You have an accuracy rating for your standard attack. The higher the accuracy, the easier they are to hit. After you click the attack button, a meter will immediately start to move. Click again while it's in the yellow region for a normal hit or the white region for a critical. As you build up a combo, each successive hit will get stronger. You can continue to attack as long as you don't miss, but each time you do, your accuracy will drop by 10%. Some monsters will have a counter attack that punishes you for missing, but you'll always end your turn immediately on a miss regardless. What you'll usually want to do is end your turn early by guarding, which gives you a defense bonus depending on your current combo count. Most monsters will have 3 health bars. After you deplete one, you'll get a brief bit of respite where you'll repair some damage and then start a new turn. Depending on how you build your mech, you may have access to different finishing moves. You always want to finish a fight with these, and they make the last leg of a battle much easier than normal. Just be wary that using one before you can actually end the fight will result in a drop in audience. After each episode, you'll be given a recap that shows how many fans you've gained, how much money you've earned, and what materials you found. Money can be spent to upgrade your studio or buy new costumes. Alternatively, you can use materials to craft costumes, and crafting is the only way to get new and improved pieces for your mech. You may also receive emails which, depending on your response, may affect things, some of which even give you access to unique equipment. Presentation-wise, the game isn't bad. The sprite work is generally good, and there's a wide variety of different actors and enemies. Basic mooks do get a little repetitive, but the unique bosses more than make up for it. The dialogue never takes itself seriously, which is a good thing because the plot gets absolutely crazy at times. I don't want to go into a spoiler section as story really isn't the driving force of the game, but there is a big plot twist about halfway into the game, and the final chapter branches into 3 fairly different paths depending on actions taken by the player up to that point. And while I've never been a huge fan of New Game Plus modes, those of you that are will be happy to know that after you finish the game once, you can play through it again with enemies scaled up so that you can have access to all of your moves from the beginning and continue to collect and build even more powerful equipment. You can run through 2 New Game pluses on a single file, allowing you to carry your team of actors through all 3 endings if you so wish. All in all, Chroma Squad is a fun, goofy, zany title that dials the corniness up to 130%. It's the kind of ludicrous adventure that, on paper, feels like it should be terrible, but actually works out quite well as long as you know what you're in for. It is fairly easy. I played on challenging mode, the 3rd of 4 difficulties, and didn't have to restart very often. Maybe I'll try max difficulty next time. The sense of progression works well, and there's a fair bit of variety in the different character builds, despite how simplistic it is overall. On the downside, it does have a handful of bugs I encountered. None of them game-breaking, but the most noticeable was that the scout has an ability that's supposed to give them a 100% counter rate when they dodge, so I built my scout to have an insane dodge rate. And yet, she didn't always counterattack. Nevertheless, the good outweighs the bad here, and I'm very much looking forward to the Mahou Shoujo pseudo-sequel that's currently in the works. As for Chroma Squad itself, I find it to be worthy of a solid 7.8 out of 10.
Chroma Squad is currently available for PC via Steam and GOG. There was formerly an Android version available, but I don't think you can get it for phones anymore. If you're interested in purchasing or learning more, links are included in the description. What about you? What do you think of Chroma Squad? What satirical RPGs do you enjoy? If you have any questions, remarks, or opposing points of view, leave them in the comments down below. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell. If you really enjoy my work, please consider funding my channel on Patreon. Until next time, farewell, fellow fanatics. Thank you again for watching. I have plenty more to share with you if you're interested. You can click up here above my head to subscribe to my channel. You can click over here on my monitor to see the most recent video that I've worked on. Or if you prefer, you can click up here to open this mysterious vault and see what video that the YouTube algorithm has picked just for you.